Hey guys, how you doing? This is Robert King, owner of Harmony Homes, a residential assisted living facility, and founder of ALU Assisted Living University. And today in the vault, I am going to answer some questions that's been coming at me. These are the top 10 questions. Now, I did put out a top 10 questions a couple months ago, but these top 10 questions that's been coming at me came from our Assisted Living University. The students that came to our Assisted Living University, and oh my God, what an incredible course we had in May of 2017. We had 10 different states represented at ALU. I mean, they came into Orlando, Florida, and for 5 days we rocked, baby. And check this out. Since then, since graduation, what is it, May 22nd, we've had 4 students from ALU who now physically have their homes, and they're in the process of getting them babies licensed in Business Model 4 and Business Model. We have 1 student that already had her first residence in Business Model 1. So if you're not attending ALU, you really want to jump into ALU, go to alfownership.com and find out when our next class is. But anyway, here we go. Top 10 questions that's been asked since our graduating class of ALU. Number 1. Can my house have stairs? Okay, now check this out. It's a very good question. Can my house have stairs? Well, the best way to answer that question is like yes and no. I always teach people that ALU, use what's in your hands. If you happen to inherit a home or you have this home and it has stairs in it, you can go ahead and apply for your license and go through the process and see if your zoning would allow your home to be approved with stairs. Now, mind you, you're going to have some kind of safety precautions to make sure the residents never get access to those stairs. So it's going to be somewhat a negative when it comes to marketing, because I got to make sure that if I'm bringing my mama to your facility, that she's going to be safe. So stairs might be a little challenge. So if you had to look for stairs, if you were buying a house and you had a choice between a house with stairs and a house without stairs, I would go without stairs so that I don't have to deal with that situation when it comes to licensing and marketing. However, use what's in your hands. If all you have is a house with stairs, then go for it. Do your very best and obviously make it as safe as possible. Make sure you contact your building department in your area and see if the house is going to be approved before you go through the entire process. So can I have a house that has stairs? I've been in facilities, residential facilities, that have had stairs, and that's the challenge they have to deal with, is making sure that they're safe and that the residents don't get access to the stairs. All right, I hope that helped you. Number 2, and there's no particular order of these questions, just the top 10. Number 2, do I need a fire sprinkler in my facility? Well, if you're in the state of Florida, and Florida is reciprocal to most other states, but if you're in Florida, yes, you are going to have a fire sprinkler system, a manual alarm station in your facility. So you want to look around and start getting some bids on what that's going to cost. Cost is going to be based on how big your house is, how deep your roof is, and square footage of your home and all that kind of stuff. That's what cost is going to be based on. But it's been averaging, from what my students tell me, from anywhere between $7,000 to $14,000, $15,000, $20,000 to put a fire sprinkler system in. The state of Florida has a new rule, new regulation that requires, if you're going to have an assisted living facility, you're going to have a fire sprinkler system, which might be your largest expense when it comes to literally opening your facility. So the answer is yes, probably no matter where you are, you're probably going to have a sprinkler system. Definitely, if you're in Florida, you're going to have a fire sprinkler system put into your home. Doesn't mean you can't have a business, just simply means you have to strategize if you don't have the funds right up front. Question number 3, when should you go full time? That question comes a lot. You know, when should I go full time? Well, I can't tell you when you should actually go full time, meaning I can't tell you when to leave your job, that secure income. I can't tell you when to do it. Entrepreneurship is different from everybody. But I can tell you that you might want to consider putting more time in your business would generate you more income. So you got to decide. One thing I can tell you is that there's never really a good time. There's never, if you're trying to save up enough money So one day you can go full time. That's your strategy. But eventually you're gonna have to burn that bridge. Like Steve Harvey says, you're gonna have to jump and trust that your wings will open, they will flap, and you will fly. But you'll never know until you jump. But I do know that your job is only going to pay you so much money per hour, per year. But owning your own facility will pay you a very good income and give you more freedom. So you got to decide when do you go full time. I can't make that decision for you. You have to make that call for yourself. When should you go full time? I just believe a true entrepreneur is somebody who does not depend upon income from anybody else, from any other source, from any employer, any job. They realize that as an entrepreneur, I got to make it happen. Closed mouths don't get fed. If I don't close this deal, we're not getting no money. I'm not paying no salaries. I'm not paying my staff. Nobody's eating. So entrepreneurship is a decision that you have to make. But I believe there's freedom through entrepreneurship. So try to go full time as quick as you can, so you can put more energy and time into your own business. I hope that helped you. Question number 4. Where do I get good staff from? Where can I get some good staff from? Well, again, I'm going to give you my experience when it comes to staffing. Okay, I know when I first got started, that was just 2 years ago. May 15, 2015 is when we got our first license as an adult family care. And back then, because I didn't have no residents, I had 1 or 2 residents. I had to have inexpensive staff. So I was hiring all these young people straight out of CNA school and LPN and all that kind of stuff. I was hiring these young people that really didn't have a commitment, and therefore they didn't stay long. So yeah, I was trying to hire cheap, but I wasn't getting quality, and it wasn't staying long. So because they wasn't staying long, that started my process over and over again and became more costly. So now it's been a year and a half. The staff has been with me the longest. It's been with me now 2 years. And so it took a minute for me to get the best ones. I probably went through, 12, 13 different people before I found the best ones. So let me give you my experience. You take it the way you want to take it, but let me give you my experience, okay? The more older an individual is, the more secure they are and the more reliable they are. My staff right now are all 50 and over. I have 5 of us now. They're all 50 and over. I might have one that's the youngest one might be 47, 48. But they secure. They're dependable. They're reliable. They're motivated. They're about more than just a paycheck. They have passion for what they do. Right now, my caregiver staff has a combination of over 100 years of experience when you add all 3 of them together. So where did I get that staff from? Well, word of mouth. That's number 1. You start letting people know that you're hiring. I also use Craigslist. Craigslist seems to be a pretty good place. We got some pretty good leads from Craigslist. And of course, with 2 billion people right now on Facebook, I use it as a business tool, not just a playing tool. So I actually did advertisement on Facebook and drew some leads from there. And so where can you get good staff from? Number 1, word of mouth. Letting people know, letting home health agencies know, letting other nurses know at the hospitals, social workers, letting those people know you're looking for somebody. Number 2, you can use Craigslist. Craigslist now makes you pay for that. I don't know, $25 a month, something like that. And number 3, social media. You can use your social media to put it out there. LinkedIn is a very good one because that's a professional social media website as well. So I hope that helped you out. Next question. What happens when a resident dies? Wow, that question came up a couple times at the Assisted Living University. And I got to tell you right now, first thing that's going to happen is that you're going to be stunned because you get attached to these residents. I mean, they become like mama. They, all the ladies in the facility, they like grandma. All the gentlemen are like grandpa. And so you get attached to them, man. I mean, you get to love it on them, man. And, you be down at the Walmart buying stuff, supposed to be buying stuff for yourself, and now you end up buying stuff for them. I went one time, I was at Walmart buying stuff, got to the counter, and I ain't had none of the stuff I wanted for me. I was buying stuff for everybody else because you get attached to them. A small facility with 8 residents or less gives you the opportunity to do that. Get to know them. Get to love on them. So when we lose one of them, obviously you have a policy in place. Obviously they dial 911 and let them know. You have a policy in place that's implemented immediately. But you have to put that policy in place when you lose somebody. Well, in my facility, Harmony Homes, I'm the only one, as the owner, I'm the only one that make that phone call to the family. Nobody else in my facility, no staff, no administrator, nobody can make the phone call to the family. So when we lose somebody transition into eternity, I get that phone call. And then I take care of the resident family and make the phone call to them. So what happens when you lose one? Immediately you put the policy and procedures in place, notify 911 or notify Hope Hospice, whichever the case may be, and let them come do what they have to do. But then you got to notify that family yourself directly, and it will be a challenge. Since I started in 2015, I've lost three ladies. All ladies. I've lost 3 ladies, and each time is just as difficult. And what I've done, in 2 cases, they didn't even have any homegoing services for them because they had pretty much outlived everybody. But in 1 case, they did have a homegoing service, and I attended it. Because it's more than just business, it's personal. You know, one of my residents passed away, and I've been caring for about a year. So I attended the homegoing service, and I suggest you do the same thing. That's that Premier Concierge treatment, and the family was absolutely appreciative of doing that. So that's what happens when you lose a resident. Next question. Should I open my facility by a big facility? Oh my God, that's a good question. All right, here's the deal. People think that the big facilities are the scary, the big boys. When I mean big facilities, I mean 100, 200, 400, 500 bed facilities. Oh my God, I should never open my small, 8 licensed facility by a big facility. They're going to overshadow me and run me out of business. The opposite. Here's the deal. The large facilities have big budgets, big incomes. And when they open those bad boys up, they market like crazy. So what happens is people start calling, and before you know it, those facilities are full. And when those facilities get full, they look for somebody to refer them to. You make contact with that discharge nurse. You make contact with the person in charge over there. You develop a relationship with them. And then when they get those calls, they can refer them to you. And you literally right down the corner, right around the corner, right next door, a couple blocks away. Also, there'll be times where people in a large facility just can't do large facilities anymore. They just change their mind and just say, this is too much. As people get older, they like a little bit more quiet. They don't like going to dinner with another 60, 70 people like like you do on the cruise ship. They like a little bit more quiet. So they may decide that they want a small facility. Well, when that happens, then you want to be in the Rolodex of those discharge nurses and the director of operations at the large facilities so they can send you leads. My first 2 residents came from a large facility. Before I even got licensed, I had already, and I didn't know any better then, I know now, I was unlicensed, but I was going around to the large facilities in my area, in my grid, in my 6x6 grid. I was going around to it was 4 large facilities in my 6x6 grid, and I went around to all of them, and they couldn't refer me anybody because I was unlicensed. But the moment I got licensed, man, boom, my first resident, I'll never forget, Miss Helen Bradford. She came from a large facility. And then my next resident came from a different large facility, but I had made contact with all those discharge nurses and those people in charge. So yes, if you happen to inherit a property, a home, by a large facility, and you're within that 1,000 feet and you can get it open, then go for it. Don't be afraid of them. They're not the enemy. The big boys are your friend, so don't be afraid of them. I hope that answers your question. I don't know what number I'm on. I said top 10. I might be on 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Next one. How do I set my rate? How do I set my rate? Okay, this is a very important question. All the questions you guys give me are important. But how do you set your rate? Means your monthly pay amount. How much do you charge for your facility? Well, first thing you do is you create this, what I call, remember, if you was at ALU, and if you wasn't, you're going to be at the next one. You create a 6x6 grid, six blocks north, south, east, west, and you find out what's your competition within that grid. And you call around and you get the price point, because you don't want to outprice yourself and you don't want to go too low. So you get your price point. What's the average price? What's the average service they offer? And then you set your rate based on there. You want to be compatible to the area. You don't want to be the lowest and the cheapest, because you're going to end up getting a full house and not being able to really maintain a good business. You don't necessarily want to be the highest. If you're bold enough, you can go a little bit higher because of the smaller personal service. But you set your price based on the comparables in the area, but then you own that baby. Once you set your price point, you own that price. You don't be afraid to ask that amount for your service. You don't be afraid. You don't be shy. You say that with confidence because you're giving these people quality service. You spending time with them on a daily basis, one-on-one. Listen, people in your facility, they're not soling themselves and then waiting 30, 40, 50 minutes before they can get changed. People in your facility are not going hungry, not sitting in a room by themselves all day long. No, they're getting that family, personal attention every day. And for that, people have to pay for it, and they will. Whatever your rate is, people will pay you for your rate because people love quality service and they'll pay you for it. So do a compatible in your area. Now check this out. I got to tell you, when you start doing comparables, you start making phone calls. Sometimes people don't want to tell you how much their rates are. When you start visiting, they may not even want to tell you their rate, especially if you tell them you open a facility. A lot of times people feel threatened and thinking that you're going to take their business. So I literally had to go and visit facilities and act as if I was touring for my mama to come in. That's kind of ridiculous, ain't it? Because the first couple of times I went, I was all excited. Yeah, I'm opening up a facility and this over here in Lehigh Acres, Florida. And people just shut down. They just wouldn't give me any information. Matter of fact, that's the reason why I created Assisted Living University, and that's why I'm telling you how to do it right yourself so you can have a successful business. So you might have to be a little creative in getting your prices in place when you start doing your price comparison. But when you set your rate, stick to it. Now, what I mean by that, they're going to be case-by-case basis where you can lower your rate. That's going to be at your choice and your discretion. Might be case-by-case basis where you have to increase your rate. Again, at your discretion, but you control that, all right? Next question is, what type of activities should I do? What type of activities should I do? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's question number 8. I got 2 more to go. What type of activities should I do? Well, activities, the state of Florida requires you to do 2 hours of activities per day for your residents. So activities are going to vary, depends upon your residents and their makeup. What I mean by makeup is their mobility. What kind of mobility do you have in your residents? What kind of mind power do they have? Do they think? Do they remember stuff? Are they laid back? Are they quiet? Can they get around? Can they use their wheelchair? That's going to determine the kind of activities that you do. Now you're going to ask them, of course. That's the first step. You ask them what do they want to do. Well, they like to play board games, and believe it or not, they love bingo. They like to play board games. They like to play, I don't know if they still have them now, they call them those Wii. You know those Wii that be on TV where you move your arm and you can do bowling and you can do all kind of stuff. They like that kind of stuff, interactive stuff on the TV. So you maybe some kind of play game on TV. Some of them like puzzles. They like to do puzzles so they can kind of like work on a puzzle every day, and my people love that. We have this table, we put a big old puzzle out, maybe 400 pieces, and then every day they can get out there and work on a puzzle. They get all excited about that. Zynga, the game called Zynga, where they can pull the blocks and see the blocks fall. They like doing that. It depends upon you and what you want to offer them. Some exercise, upward mobility. There's a lot of ways to give them activities. You can bring people, but let me explain this to you about activities. People seem to think that the elderly love to go places all the time. The elderly, they tired. And traveling and going places for some of them is painful. It's a lot of movement, and it's like that hurts. And so I wouldn't be bragging and boasting about, oh, we take our elderly to the zoo. Well, do they really want to go to the zoo? Because by the time you get them in the van with their wheelchairs or with their walker, get them to the zoo, get them out the van, and now you at the zoo. The zoo is indoor, outdoor. After about 30, 40 minutes, they're ready to go. And elderly people don't like using the bathroom in the public, so because they get embarrassed, and they don't like telling you that they have to go, so sometimes they'll sew themselves because they don't like to bother you. So it's up to you on what kind of activities you want to do. I'm just saying from my personal experience, we bring a lot of people into the facility versus taking the elderly out of the facility and have activities like that. Hey man, we have the violinist coming to the crib and he plays the violin while they eating, and we have people from the church come in and do crafts and creative things like that. Now check this out. I'm actually looking into sewing. We have a couple ladies that have been talking about sewing, and so I'm looking into how safe we can get a sewing machine, and can they use that with a little supervision, and they can make pillows. Man, listen, I had a vision a couple nights ago that I walked into the house and there was like 500 pillows all over the house, on the couches, on the beds, everywhere. Think about that, if they just made pillows. Matter of fact, we can make pillows and give them away or stuff like that. Just give them something to do. Just kind of come up with some activities that's going to keep them active and keep them going a little bit. I hope they help you. I got 2 more questions to answer. Next one, how do I get clients? Okay, that's a whole course. I mean, that's a whole course. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to even try to answer that one on this top 10 because that requires me to give you a whole course. That course may take me 2-3 hours to explain that. So I'm going to bypass that one for right now, but stay tuned. Stay in the vault because I'm going to give you the entire course, the top 10 places to market to get your clients. So I'll answer the next question. What about my neighbors? Okay, what about my neighbors? Do I have to have permission from my neighbors to open my facility? The answer is no, especially if you're in the state of Florida. You got to check your own state. But if you're in the state of Florida, you do not have to have permission from your neighbors to open a facility. However, you do want to engage them in your activities by letting them know what it is you'll be doing because watch this, every person knows somebody who knows somebody, so your neighbors may can fill your house. So you want to engage them and let them know what's going on, invite them to your open house. I even almost hired, well, let's see, let me take that back. I hired my neighbor across the street, a young man in high school, to come to the facility every Saturday for 4 hours and just do basic cleanup. He did basic cleanup. He pulled all the toilet lifts off the toilets and took them outside and washed them and cleaned them. Once a month, he took all the wheelchairs out, washed them and cleaned them. He cleaned all the sofas, the carpet, we don't have carpet, but all the sofas that we have, the couches, he cleaned those. He just kept the place looking good. I just hired him from across the street. I don't know, $7, $8, $9. I think it was minimum wage, $8, $10 an hour. It wasn't very expensive. Gave him something to do, gave him some accountability, his first job. And then I almost hired a neighbor, his neighbor, but she only spoke Spanish, and we had a little issue with that because I didn't speak Spanish at all. And I was going to hire her to be a caregiver right across the street. So you can engage your neighbors in what you got going on, but you don't need their permission to open your facility. Now I got to tell you, it's a good thing to have good neighbors because curb appeal is very important. At one point, I actually paid my guy who did my lawn to cut my neighbor's lawn because he wasn't, he was sickly. He went through a phase of being sick, so he couldn't keep his yard up. But hey, that's important. So hey, what's another $50 a month to have my guy go cut his grass so that my house looks good like his house looks good because people are coming to look at your property and they want to make sure it looks good. So you don't need your neighbor's approval, but you do want to let them know what you got going on. Last question. Do I have to have a degree to own a facility? No, you do not. You're looking at a guy right now, Robert E. King Jr. You may know me as Dr. King, but as Dr. King, I have 2 honorary degrees. I have an honorary degree in ministry and an honorary degree in business administration. But I don't have any academic, college degrees. I don't have any medical background. So no, you do not have to have a degree to open, own, and operate a facility at all. What you should do, though, you should definitely come to Assisted Living University so I can give you the knowledge and spend 5 days. If you think this short video was pretty cool, I don't know how long this might be, 30, 40 minutes, but you come to the ALU for 5 days, and I'm going to drop so much knowledge on you. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to open, own, and operate your own facilities. All right, there you go. That's the top 10 questions that's been asked over the last couple months. Most of them came from Assisted Living University, and I hope they helped you out. Now listen, make sure you go to ALF right now. Stop when this video is over. Go to alfownership.com. Find out when the next ALU course is. Sign up for it, and I promise you, you'll get more knowledge. Matter of fact, my people tell me right now, when they go down to the building department, when they go over to the permit department, when they talk to the fire marshal, that they know more than the people expect. Oh my, come on now, listen. They go down there and they got more knowledge sometimes than the people working there, and they've been asking them, how did you know this? How you find this out? And we have this phrase that we coin at ALU. It says, how you knew, and they shout ALU. So they've been letting people know that, hey, listen, I've been to Assisted Living University, and so that's how I'm learning so much information. So hey, make sure you go to ALU University and get your information. Go to alfownership.com, and I'm out of here. Talk to you next time. Peace.
Hey there, you may ask, What is a residential assisted living facility? Well, it is a typical family home converted into an assisted living facility. Why is this a good endeavor for you? Did you know that 4,000 people a day turn 85 and 70% need assistance with their daily living for about 3 to 4 years? They're looking for normal, cozy family homes. And that is where your business opportunity comes in. Dr. Robert King created Assisted Living University to teach others how to open and own their very own successful assisted living facility. It's at Assisted Living University. CEO and founder of ALU will be in Orlando at DoubleTree Hotel at SeaWorld, September 27th to October 1st. This will be a 5-day jam-packed training seminar. You will learn how to open and operate your very own successful residential assisted living facility.
No harm shall come near you in the morning or in the night. You will never get in your life have anybody hurt you.
Energy is so awesome. I've never been anywhere where I could sit in a room literally for 12 hours, even 5 hours, and stay wide awake. He has your attention from the beginning until the end.
He's got a Christian heart, and he's got absolutely fantastic presentation skills that take a lot of what otherwise in some cases could be boring information, and he makes it very enjoyable.
And it's been awesome. It's nothing that I've ever thought about that what I expected is even greater than what I received all through the program. I'm so empowered. I'm so strengthened. I know that right now I'm ready to go for what I wanted.
I'm probably going to come back twice. Yeah. Not because I need to, it was kind of fun.
Just to see him. But the thing about it is, there's no event where you can come and personally be with the creator, the owner, and have a sit-down conversation one-on-one.
The amount of information, the knowledge that he's been giving us is top-notch. Yes, it's top-notch.
He has a whole set of presentation skills that most people don't have.
In different stages of the process, you've been taught well enough. Been in all the rooms, right? You just share the rooms always, right?
For more details and to register, log on alfownership.com.